Am I the asshole for ruining my own gender reveal party? I'm pregnant with a baby boy due in November. My fiancé and I didn't care much about the sex of our child, so we didn't make too much noise about it once we found out. The only people we'd informed were our parents, their partners and our siblings. Prior to this, my father's girlfriend of 3 years had been asking me about my plans for a gender reveal party. I've always been clear about not wanting one. When I announced my son's gender to them, she expressed disappointment that I hadn't changed my mind about a party. I don't like gender reveals. Never have, never will. I prefer baby showers, which I think feel more about the actual child. I never tried to hide that opinion, either. Days later, my father's girlfriend invited me over for tea at their apartment. My dad was out of town. When I got there, about a dozen people popped out of hiding to surprise me. There were pink and blue decorations everywhere, which made what was going on pretty clear. As I stood there in shock, my father's girlfriend excitedly told me they were throwing me a surprise gender reveal party. Since I'd already told her, she had taken it upon herself to order a cake with colorful frosting, decorate the apartment and invite a bunch of people over. The guests included her mother, whom I don't get along with, some of her friends, my mother-in-law, not my mom, and 4 of my friends. As I later found out, my mother-in-law and friends had been told I'd changed my mind about gender reveals. I had not. Still in the doorway, I looked over at everyone and said, "It's a boy. You guys can go home now." I left without looking back. Hours later, my father called me furious that I'd ruined the party. He said his girlfriend had put a lot of effort, money and love into planning it, and I should have shown respect and gratitude for it. Apparently, she hadn't stopped crying since I left. It's been almost a week, and they're both still upset. Even after I explained I never wanted that party in the first place, they're insisting I could have sucked it up for an hour, or at least cut the cake. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. This smacks of her trying to prove that she cares about you more than your mom, especially seeing as how either your mom wasn't invited or she turned down the invitation to respect your wishes. She doesn't seem to get that the way to prove she cares about you at all is to actually listen to what you want and don't want. Not the asshole. Dad's girlfriend sounds like someone who enjoys bulldozing boundaries. Wait until she expects to be in the delivery room with you. You're not the asshole. You made yourself very clear in how you felt about gender reveal parties. You Dad's girlfriend completely and deliberately disregarded that and disrespected you. He said his girlfriend had put a lot of effort, money and love into planning it, and I should have shown respect and gratitude for it. So sorry the party she planned for herself was ruined. Maybe she should have gone a step further and not even invited you, since this party was all about what she wanted. Dear Dad, that's on her. I didn't want that party. I told everyone I don't want GR party. She invited her mother but not mine. Tell her to get her shit together and start respecting my boundaries. Not the asshole. It wasn't your gender reveal party, it was her boyfriend's daughter's baby's gender reveal party. Nothing about that party was for or about you, so why should you feel gratitude for it? I wish all gender reveal parties were like that. That's elite. Am I the asshole for not giving my ex temporary child support relief so he can pay for his stepkids? My ex and I, both 32, were married for 10 years. In all honesty, we were both too young to marry, 18, and we'd grown up in a very religious environment that set us up to fail, because we were encouraged by our parents to court and then marry and have children, which we did. He was set up to work for his family so he could earn money while I was expected to end all education and be a stay-at-home mom, which I mostly did, but I did seek out online school while my kids were very young. But I never worked. My ex wouldn't allow it in my family and his discouraged it strongly. 4 years ago, at the start of 2020, my ex told me he wanted to end our marriage and that he had fallen in love with someone else. He told me he hadn't cheated yet but knew it was coming to that and he wanted to be with her in the right way, which meant ending our marriage and marrying her before anything physical happened. He left me in a fucked up place. No income of my own, no job experience at all, and I was totally reliant on him and his family most of all. Despite what he said, he moved in with his now wife right away, though both claimed in separate bedrooms. Our divorce was a mess. They didn't want him to owe me anything. I asked the courts to grant me alimony until I could secure stable employment, which they granted, and after several short-lived jobs, I did secure employment and alimony came to an end. But I will never make as much as him. Despite my ex disappointing his family with his actions, they continued to employ him and they increased what he makes so he could provide comfortably for everyone, and more than comfortably even. He was ordered to pay a substantial amount of child support, even with 50-50 custody, because of the disparity between his house and mine. This money goes into providing my kids with a good quality of life. I couldn't provide it for them without the support. Though I am far more comfortable now than before and can save a little for their futures. My ex's household full-time is his wife, her 2 children from another relationship, and their 1 child together. Our kids are there 50% of the time. Recently my ex asked the court to relieve some of his child support burden, and he said his stepkids had some medical and dental procedures he needed the money for. The courts did not rule in his favor and told him he had an obligation to maintain our children's quality of life. After court he approached me to ask to relieve him temporarily. He asked for 2 months so he can pay for the things his stepkids need. I refused to let him off the hook on child support. I do believe he has stuff for his stepkids that need paying for, but our kids need to be supported too, and I don't want to make them suffer for his choices. He and his wife went on a very personal attack about how uncharitable and greedy I am. They also called me vindictive. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. The stepkids are the financial responsibility of his wife and their biological father. Let them step up. There is no way your children should suffer just because their father chose to marry someone with kids. He did not allow you to work when you were married, and now he wants you to do a financial favor to him. The hypocrisy and entitlement are here is outrageous. Not the asshole. His stepkids have 2 parents responsible for their financial support. You and your ex are not those 2 people. The judge rightly denied the request. Tell him to pound sand. Not the asshole. Where was his charity when he abandoned you with nothing and tried to leave you destitute? Where was her charity when she went after a married man? Your duty is to the quality of your kids' lives. That's what the child support is for. Do not let him off the hook. This is entirely his doing. He needs to live with the consequences of his actions and live up to his responsibilities. And why is he coming to you for money? Couldn't mom and dad bail him out yet again? Not the asshole. It takes 2 to make children. When he laid down with you, he should have known he was making a lifetime commitment. Why should your children have to suffer because he wants to provide for his stepkids? Where are their fathers to take care of them? I'm not trying to sound shallow at all. I understand when you marry someone with kids, their kids become yours as well. But this doesn't mean neglect your children for someone else's. I'm sorry you're having to deal with this. I pray and hope him and his wife understand your side eventually. I also pray that financial abundance comes your way. Not the asshole. Child support is exactly that. Support for his children. Ask him what his kids should do without for the next couple of months. Not the asshole. So, your ex wants to take from his biological children to give to children who aren't his? He is the worst kind of man. Am I the asshole for making a scene when my brother's girlfriend tried to protect her peace? I didn't know how to title the post. I apologize. My son is 11 months old and 97th percentile for height. He is a big-ass baby, currently 36 inches tall or about the size of your average 2.5 yo, and in 3T clothing. However, despite him being so big, he is still just a baby and most of his nutrition is still from breast milk. For the 4th we had a big family cookout and my brother invited his girlfriend. I live out of state and I didn't want my flights to be too close together, so I'm staying for a bit longer. My brother and his girlfriend are doing the same thing. My family is aware that my son is a baby, obviously, but my brother's girlfriend was not and was initially very shocked when she saw him misbehaving. We explained that he's still a baby, so he's still just exploring the world. She remained uncomfortable, but we mostly avoid each other. Because he's so big, feeding him is a chore, so I use an armchair as there isn't enough support elsewhere, and so there isn't much I can do about covering up. He gets sweaty under blankets and won't eat. It's been a tense couple of weeks. Last night I think we both kind of lost it. My son needed feeding and she was in the chair. I asked her to move, which she whined about but did get up. Everything was fine for another hour or so until she demanded my brother pay for her to go to a hotel for the remaining nights because she can't cope with me and the baby. He asked what she meant and she said that he's clearly big enough to be on real food and I enjoy making her uncomfortable by feeding him in front of her. I got embarrassingly upset and told her that she should keep her mouth shut because she clearly doesn't know the first thing about parenting and certainly doesn't know anything about me or my son. We argued the same points for a little more until my son woke from his nap and I left to collect him. She then left after telling us all, loudly, that she needs to protect her peace, which is honestly not a phrase I thought real people said. My brother told me I was being immature and left with her. My dad is on my side, but did tell me I should have removed myself from the situation as I'm a grown woman and she's still a teenager. I'm 3 years older than her, so I think that's BS. My mom is neutral but is still trying to convince my brother to come home and ended up paying for their hotel. She thinks I could have been a lot more understanding. Am I the asshole? Was I completely out of order? I know how you feel. My boys are 6 feet 6 inches and 6 feet 5, respectively. It looked like they should have been able to eat a porterhouse every day. So, I get where you are coming from. Some people are more literal. They see you breastfeeding a love seat, and they just can't cope. Her peace is disrupted by a baby needing to be fed? How sad for her. If she's so shocked that babies can come in different shapes and sizes, she's gonna lose her mind when she finds out they come in different colors too. Not the asshole. I'm going to go with not the asshole. It sounds like it's a her issue if she was the only who made any fuss about it. To clarify the still a teenager bit, is she still an actual teen or someone is a bit self-centered or sheltered? Could you have gone to another room like a bedroom, or is that specific chair the primmest of spots? Not that it matters, emo. She's weird and shoulda just sucked it up. Not sure if she's unaware that above-average babies can happen? Not the asshole. If she's uncomfortable because you're breastfeeding, she leaves the room. It's that simple. Her opinions on what your son should eat are stupid and nobody asked for them. Sometimes people are stupid or clumsy, but she was disrespectful. She absolutely must apologize for her unsolicited advice and entitled behavior. Next time she can go straight to the hotel for her peace, but above all for your peace. Not the asshole. You're the mom, you get to decide when and where to feed your baby. The fact that she can't cope with your baby being above average in size is not your problem. My son was 22 inches tall at birth. He was never a tiny newborn, and we had to actually have someone bring us clothes to take him home in because the baby things we brought were ridiculously too small. Big babies are a thing, and your family needs to shut down anyone giving you grief over their own insecurities. The person whose peace needs protecting is you. Your brother thinks you were being immature? His girlfriend is the one getting the vapors at the sight of a woman breastfeeding her baby. If she just can't deal with the sight of something that offends her, maybe she should go stay in mommy's basement until she grows up. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for kicking everybody out of our home theater because I wanted to use it? My birthday was a couple months back, and my husband's gift was all the equipment and installation of a home theater in a vacant room in our house. I was extremely grateful since it was a project I'd been wanting to do for a while. Except the fact I barely get to use it. Either my husband or kids are in there, which sucks because A, the gift is for me and B, the stuff they want to do in there can be done anywhere else. Most times they're just watching YouTube or some type of video. I was going to go in there last night, but my husband beat me to it. Instead of just leaving this time, I told him that I wanted to use it, and that I was going to use it. I've maybe used it 3-4 times since installation, and my birthday was in April. My husband and kids have probably used it tens to hundreds of times. After like 5 minutes, my husband just left, and now he thinks that I was being unreasonable for wanting to use it. Am I the asshole? I think I'm not because everyone else seems to be using my gift instead of me. Not the asshole, eh? I hate to break it to you, but it wasn't your BD present. That was just the excuse. Not the asshole. The room should be shared. It kind of seems like this gift for you was a way to actually gift something for themselves or at the very least put minimal effort into actually doing something considerate for you. I would say that it's probably better to think of a way to share the space with everyone at the same time. Weekly movie nights for the family maybe? That way it doesn't feel like something is taken away from someone else. For your husband's next birthday, get something he won't wind up using that tangentially or incidentally benefits him in theory but will be used by you. It could even be beauty products that make you look pretty for him. When he questions it, refer back to this story. If that is too edgy and pettiness, go a bit less and tell him you won't be doing any birthday stuff and will be treating yourself to spa or whatever out of town. With a friend, perhaps. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. It sounds like your husband gave you a gift he wanted. Talk to your husband and let him know and your children know you expect to use the home theater a minimum of X number of days or evenings a week because it was his gift to you. Not the asshole. Create a calendar of use and give yourself priority for a year. Your birthday year. Esh. Your husband for giving you a family gift for your birthday. And you for thinking a home theater should be solely yours. Seriously. Also, spouses shouldn't speak to each other the way you did.